Hello to our viewers. I want to welcome you to our series number 3 on Tsika Lounge. Today I'm very excited. I have a man with me who is behind one of the leading media houses. It's an independent commercial online TV, and they are keeping us connected with the events in Zimbabwe. I think recently we saw the rallies and we kept going to Slime media portals and we were kept informed of what was happening on the ground. And we're excited to be talking to him to find out the work that he's doing. Mr. Sly, we want to welcome you here on Tsika Lounge.
Thank you so much. I sometimes forget that I'm Sly because there's a company that's called Sly.
All right.
And Sly is my shortcut for the name Silvester Tapfumaneyi.
Thank you. All right. So I think it is good that maybe perhaps just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself and tell us about your role in Slime Media.
I think I've been in the media for all my life since I came from school, despite the fact that here and there I would jump from one company to the other, but I've always been a media person. Because why do I say that? Immediately after I finished my Form 4, which is my O level, I straight away went into media studies. That was at the Midlands College in Kwekwe. And then after I did other several things before coming back again to the media, when I joined ZBC. And interestingly, at that time I joined ZBC as a driver, driving reporters around, producers around. And then when I was there, I managed to go back again because I'd done a certificate level, managed to go back to Kosa College, where I started again to pursue my career as a journalist. So I was at Kosa College after that. So I was at Kosa College while I was working for ZBC as a driver. Right. And then after some years, I also left Zimbabwe to go to UK to further my studies. That is after some frustrations in Zimbabwe. I could not make a music video, having studied media at Kosa College then.
Right.
So it frustrated me really because when I was working at ZBC at some point I was producing music. So I could not then produce a music video, having produced an audio. So it kept on eating me inside. And that's what made me go then to UK, because in UK it would offer me the chance to work at the same time going to college. Right. So I studied up media studies in UK, and then I was studying what they call new media.
Right.
Yes.
So after getting all that experience in the United Kingdom, you decided to come back to Zimbabwe. What drove you to come back home?
You know, when I was in UK myself, I was starved of information from Zimbabwe. Because when we went to UK in 2000, then there was no internet, there was no Facebook, so there was no direct link with what was happening home. So there was that information gap in terms of what was happening in Zimbabwe. So we relied on content or news that we would see on BBC or Al Jazeera, and it would just be a bite of what they wanted to say about Zimbabwe. And coming from the field as a media person myself, I would know that these guys are lying and they're just saying things that pleases themselves, or they are also propaganda stations in their own right. What is propaganda? You just say what you want versus the other. So they were saying a lot of things which were not true, showing people eating cockroaches, and they are saying that's in Mbare, and all sorts of things. And also we also wanted to know what was really happening politically, and the situation back home in Zimbabwe. This was at the height when I left Zimbabwe, when parties like MDC came to life, in 1999, and then I left for UK after that. So there were a lot of things that were happening, and some of them were related to asylum issues and all sorts of things. The newspapers reporting that so many people have been killed, so many people have we really didn't have enough information.
Right.
So at some point in life, I said to myself, you know what, I need to do something
Make a difference.
to fairly represent Zimbabwe on a world map,
Right.
showing people factual news that is happening on the ground in my own country, in Zimbabwe. First and foremost, that is my main reason of coming back home, to start an information center that informs people that are living abroad, and at the same time not only informing people negatively but positively, to show that there's something good about Zimbabwe that we
Right.
can put on a world map. So that made me leave my comfort zone in UK to come back to Zimbabwe and just tell a true story about Zimbabwe, whether it's political, it's social, and everything else to do with news and current affairs.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think it's a calling. It sounds like it's a calling, because sometimes we were frustrated by it, but we never thought, okay, let me do something about it. But you actually went on a journey to say, I am going to represent my country, give information. I think as you are saying, you kind of then raise the issue of ethics to do with journalism, that information needs to be, although we've got freedom of speech, but it needs to be balanced. So we are not telling lies, but we're telling the truth. Are there any regulatory bodies here in Zimbabwe that regulate journalists in terms of the news that they give to the world, or people just, as long as they have a camera?
If you are a trained journalist, there is a self-regulatory effect that naturally comes to you as a journalist. You know, from what you were trained at school, you were supposed to, you are meant to report facts as they are, and you don't speak on behalf of the consumers, but you also make sure what you present to them in terms of news or current affairs is the truth. That is why you are required to go and ask the person in question what they have to say about a particular issue, so that I don't speak on their behalf. So my role, for starters, is to propagate, amplify what anyone else has said. This is why when we write newspapers, we will say, Auntie Mimi said.
Yeah.
I don't say things on her behalf. That's journalism.
Right.
So regulation starts with a school of media.
Right.
Understanding that whatever information that I'm going to put forward will not injure anyone's rights in the process. Regulatory bodies, they come, yes. Why do they come in? They will end up coming in because people want to say lies about certain things, which is not factual. You end up with regulatory bodies, and that's why the government has to make sure that everyone else who wants to operate a tuck shop as an SME must be registered.
Right.
As a media person, you must be registered. Right. So regulations are not there to stop people, but to continuously give guidance and keep people in check. Yes, in Zimbabwe they are there. There are so many. But if you hate them, you also need to have a self-introspect. What is it bad that I am doing or that I'm reporting negatively as a lie? It's not a lie to say they have built a bridge, but it's a lie to say they have built a bridge when it's not there.
Right. right. So I think I want to come to that self-regulating and sensationalism, because media now is about sensationalism. It's who gets more views. And you said you are in online commercial television. So there is so much pressure to maybe distribute fake news. I think you said lying, that is even more decent than fake, because fake news is just a fabrication. So how then does your company regulate itself so that you are not in that hype of saying, let's just push this because it will give us traffic on our portals?
I tell you what, there's what is called editorial policy. Editorial policy is a set of rules that a company gives itself and its management and its people that work, or the financiers or the funders of that media organization. If you are a government, there are regulatory effects that allows you to say you are supposed to report things this way, and you support the government in power and all sorts of things, etc. And at the end of the day, you are biased towards what the government does, and you speak less negative things of what they are failing to do.
Because they are the funders.
Because they are the funders. And then when you go to the independent, you are given money because you are supposed to say everything negative about the government if you are to remain being funded. You see what I mean? So ourselves, we don't want to rely on that. What we want to try and do is to have what is called an independent television station,
Right.
where our editorial policy is not pushed by the funder to become a mouthpiece of the funder. Say everything bad about the government of Zimbabwe, then you get your pay. And then the government say defend everything evil, even if the government is not doing anything that is progressive. Never say it. You see what you are saying?
Yeah.
So there's that adage which says, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you."
Yeah.
So we are praying and working hard that we don't become that media organization that is funded to speak on behalf of a political party or
Opposition.
or some funders. Or we also want to continue to give people facts.
Right.
And how do we do that? We don't take sides. How do we do it when we cover everyone, whether they are activists, the government in power, independent, people that are in politics and all sorts? How do we manage to do that? We don't take sides. We don't put butter or icing on the cake of whatever they have said. How do we do it? If Nelson Chamisa, the president of Triple C, when he's addressing a rally, our title must not be seen to be biased or to try and enhance his activity.
Right.
We just say President Advocate Nelson Chamisa for Triple C addresses people in Beitbridge, full stop.
Right.
When we go to the current president, President Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa addresses youth at HICC, full stop. We do not go into the contents of his speech.
Right. So we are to listen to the speech ourselves and make a decision.
You make a judgment for yourself.
Right.
As an electorate, as people have been governed, and if it's an independent person, there is Linda Masarira who has got her own party or is an independent. We just do the same. It becomes uniform. Linda Masarira speaks on the issues to do with the Zimbabwe Election Commission or women. Full stop, we end there.
Right. So, but are there, maybe I'm going off here. So, do you think this is achievable that in the near future we'll have more media houses that are just giving us information on the ground? Because sometimes when I visit some portals, when I read the title, I kind of know they're leaning towards this and leaning towards this. Do you think in Zimbabwe it is possible that we will have more media houses that just gives information without involving our emotions?
It's not possible if you go back to the issue of funders.
Right.
It's not possible, and it's never going to be possible. But who determines your editorial policy is maybe the founder of that company, and how he gets his funding to run that company.
Yeah. So maybe we want to come to money. You left the diaspora, you came here, you are funding your own company, it's doing well. How does your company make money then?
The ideology, or I don't know the right word to put here, any media house, whether it's radio, it's TV, it's newspaper, any publication, the issue here at hand, if we are to follow the principles of setting up a media organization that reaches out to people and read or listen to your stories, it's simple.
Right.
We all read about that. We all read that you need to educate, entertain, and inform.
Right.
Once you do those principles, if you are entertaining, people will automatically follow you. If you are engaging, people will automatically follow you. If you are a radio station that is providing good programming, people automatically follow you. And as we are talking about those followers for a TV station, a listenership for a radio station, a readership for a newspaper, once you are entertaining and providing those values, automatically advertisers come to you.
Right. So with Slime Media, you've got television. Do you have newspapers?
Yes, we have an online website, yes.
Right. And you, what else do you do aside from the online publication and the...
We do behind the scenes. We sometimes do corporate videos that maybe not any of our clients will see. We've got lots of clients that are based outside Zimbabwe that are in UK. They'll ask us to do a documentary. We've got companies in Zimbabwe that will ask us to do a corporate video. We've got companies that will ask us to do an advert. You may never see that this advert was done by Slime Media. So those are revenue streams that pour money into Slime Media. Then we go back to the issue I was talking about, which is the issue of harnessing viewership. When you have viewership, automatically, I said, advertisers will follow you. But before the advertisers, there is a huge gap of people that are following you. Those are the viewers. Once you have viewers or readership, people, when they have a function, they will ask you to come and cover their function and broadcast to your audience. Star FM is asked to come to a function so that they can broadcast to their audience. Slime Media is invited at the same function so that we broadcast to our audience. So naturally, PR managers, marketing managers of companies, they will come to you and say, we know you have a following. Can you come to our event so that you can broadcast our event to your people? This is the reason why we have what is called diaries. What are diaries? People in certain companies invite journalists to come to their function and write about it.
Right.
So here, because of the digital era that we are in, we write on the go using cameras and streaming abroad instantly. To our viewers who have been following us up, because we give them what they want. And then we then give them those issues and coverages that are coming from function. We spend more of our time not in prisons. We spend most of our time not in the chief's courts. And no, we spend our time, most of our time now in hotels and functions rooms.
Right.
Amplifying what any other company that is seeking mileage and brand visibility to come to us so that we showcase whatever they are doing to the world.
So, yeah, this is interesting. I have seen Slime Media broadcasting some conferences that are maybe initiated by our government, like for women empowerment, youth, and things like that. And I see that you are actually exclusively broadcasting that to the world.
Yes.
Is there any reason why then it can be broadcasted by ZBC, or is it to do with the following?
Following comes in. Monetary issues come in. Commitment also comes in. Right. A client may want ZBC, but ZBC is preoccupied with other events somewhere, such that they cannot afford to send a crew to that function. So it is the role of any company that has a function to look for a person suitable and who can deliver the function in a quality, in a high production values that they perceive to represent their own organization. So there are a lot of things that come into effect. The quality of programming, the way you present the function to the world. Is it packaged in a manner that meets any criteria that we see on BBC or SABC or Al Jazeera? If they want the way we do things, they invite us and they compare us with ZBC, ZTN and others. And then they can conclusively say at the end of the day, we want Slime Media. Maybe because they are cheap. Maybe because they are good at what they are doing. So we give them an invoice because they've invited, they've bonded us to their function. We are not able to go elsewhere because they want their function to be seen by the whole world. So we end up going to that functioned because of that process that would have gone through. Not only that, we are members of the Procurement Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, which is PRAZ. They advertise any other company that has got a function, especially the parastatals, government institutions. They are required to go and look for people that are registered under PRAZ to come and cover their state functions.
Right.
So we are members of that.
Ah, right.
And there's a monetary value to that. Sometimes we don't go for free.
I think our viewers are enjoying this. This is Mr. Tapfumaneyi, Silvester Tapfumaneyi, behind the Sly Media, and we are talking about journalism, about media, and about Sly Media specifically, finding out what is happening on the ground, because they are continually informing us, updating us. We can't say we don't know what's happening in Zimbabwe when we are in the diaspora, because they are giving us information. Now, we talked about the media being neutral. I have followed some of your programs, and I think there was one that I watched, and I became very emotional about it, and it was to do with LGBT, transgenders, and things like that. I think maybe it might come under the educating our people, but I wanted to know, did you have any feelings yourself behind this, or this was part of you just being neutral? Or were you also thinking we need to amplify their voices?
As a journalist, the definition of a journalist is a watchdog of the society.
Right.
And like I said before, we also need to give people voices, those people that have no voices. In the way we execute our job, I would leave a lot of things at stake for me to be able to professionally execute my job. But if I follow certain things like my faith, I would not be able to interview a herbalist, a Nanga as per se.
Right.
I am a born-again Christian. I am a deacon in one of the churches in Zimbabwe. So, but people see me interviewing Nanga, Godobori, but ndikatarisa kuti ini ndiri muKristu andinopedzisira ndisina kuenda ikoko.
Right.
Anditi mazvona. Saka ndikatarisa kuti ini ndiri muKristu. What do I think about lesbians, gays, and transgender and all sorts of things? I may end up not going there because I'll start to think that it crosses my path in terms of my faith. But what is coming first now here? It is my work at stake. This is what puts food on the table, not because I'm a Christian. But I have a passion of being a journalist. So a journalist, I don't choose who I represent. I'm not supposed to. The moment I do that, then I'm missing something somewhere.
Right.
I would rather choose to be a church editor and then remain in the line of my faith. But the moment I go out there to be employed by someone somewhere, I'll have to do what they want. Unless otherwise I'm told you're a business reporter. But if you're a general reporter, whatever comes to the net is a fish.
Right.
So people come to us like the way political parties come to us and say, we want representation. So come to us and say, people don't understand us.
Right.
Oh, okay. So what is it that you want to discuss about? We want to tell people about what is it that I'm talking about when I'm talking about transgender.
Right.
What is it that I'm talking about when I say I'm a lesbian?
Right.
I'm a gay. This is what has happened in my life. My own parents did not understand me. My churchmate did not understand me. My schoolmates did not understand me. But we go back to the fact that as Christians, we also need to understand that everyone has got rights, even a prisoner. Even a prisoner has a right to be heard. And there's the United Nations Charter that says we are supposed to be inclusive of everyone. So we need to listen to anyone. At church, people listen to people who've got problems, marital problems. Even if I don't have marital problems in my house, but I have to listen to you. So our role is to listen and amplify. And then people make their own judgment from what we present to them. That's our editorial policy. Anyone is free to come to Sly Media as long as you have something that you feel it needs to be amplified, it needs to be talked about. Our role is to engage people in certain issues. And the other role of a producer is to make sure that you turn negative attitudes into positive attitudes.
Right.
I don't know if you answered.
I am liking this, and I'm understanding. What you're understanding is we are capturing what is happening in the world, and we are living together in our worlds. So I might be living in this block at number 10, but at number 11 there might be a Godobori. At number 11 there might be a politician. All these things is part of our life, and we are capturing this on the screen, and we're giving it out. This is what I'm understanding. So we're giving it out without making any judgment.
Because we are a diverse society.
Right. Those that follow that will listen. Those that makes sense.
And that does, wherever I go, I've been a journalist all my life. Wherever I go should not change me because I'm as a Christian.
Right.
It should never change me. I've covered soccer commentary, sponsored by beer brewing companies.
Right.
Everyone watches, including Christians. Including Christians, they watch the football. Week in, week out, we watch the Champions League. And who sponsors that? There are companies that makes beer.
Right.
But I'm a Christian, but I love soccer. So sometimes the world compels us to be in situations that we don't want to be. As Christians, we don't have manufacturing companies that Christians should go and work. But we have got people that have got farms that are farming tobacco, but they don't smoke.
Right.
But they understand that with tobacco, it is used in certain fields, not only for smoking. Maybe in a theater where a Christian goes for an operation. Right. And then they end up having daka, mbanje being used on them. But they are Christians. Now there's COVID, everyone is using sanitizers, including Christians, but there's an alcohol content. That's the world we live in.
I'll ask you one more professional question, then I'll ask you a personal question, then we end. Yes. So I've noticed that you do collaborations with other media houses, maybe Zimbo Live, like Auntie Jenny's portals. I love Auntie Jenny. So how then do you regulate your work as different media houses coming together to collaborate, to stream or to capture news and give it out?
Like I said before about being a journalist and being using self-censorship for starters, we are also guided by rules and regulations that Facebook themselves were the initiators of this online TV, and we want to thank them. Without Facebook, we wouldn't be having employment. Without YouTube, we will not be having employment. We will also be wrangling for some place in some media houses for us to go and work in the traditional media for newspapers and also for TV. And as you are aware, in Zimbabwe, there are not so many televisions. So all the journalists that are being produced in Zimbabwe will not be anyway. But we want to thank Facebook for giving us a platform to do all this that we are doing. Right. And so when we self-regulate, it means that I am not doing anything that if it is shown on any other platform, it will injure any other of our viewers.
Right.
So if I do it, then the next person do it the same. Then the next person do it. No matter how many websites or pages that we have. We were talking about football. Football is filmed in United Kingdom by one single company. Right. But we will find it on SABC. We'll find it on ZBC. We'll find it on Sky. We'll find it on ITV. We'll find it on another TV station in America and in Europe and in Dubai.
Right.
But who is filming? Is one person. But as they are filming, they are guided by certain principles that this is a family TV. Whatever you put there, families should be able to consume that content in the same room. So if you follow those principles, you will not injure someone.
Right.
So in the process, we have unruly journalists who thrive on negativity. And at the end of the day, they will end up, they may push what is not likable by followers that are on Sly Media TV. And that alone, it's not acceptable.
Right.
It's not acceptable. Right. However, the way we check what is happening on Sly Media can be a mountain task on us.
Right.
Because as another media organization, say 263 Chat, is broadcasting to, we have given them rights to broadcast to our audience, because we don't own audience.
Right.
So Zima has got audience, Zimbo Life has got audience, Antimimi has got audience, that they are harnessed through their own means and ways. So they are their audience. But however, there is a feeling that there are some people who are following Antimimi who don't know Sly Media. So if we push our brand through that following, at the end of the day, those who did not know Sly Media, they will know Sly Media.
Right.
And those who did know Antimimi will know Antimimi if the products that are being pushed to us. So at the end of the day, it goes back to the owners of the online TV are not us, Sly Media.
Right.
This is why they shout at us that, why are you giving me this content instead of going to a rally? Because they are now the owners of the TV.
Right.
It's no longer mine.
Right.
I report to them, for example, on Sly Media, we're now over 300,000 followers.
Yes.
Right. So they are the owners of the TV. So when I wake up every day, I need to say, the owners of the TV, they want to watch something.
Right.
That's my homework. So as much as we will work together, we are trying to satisfy people that follow all those media houses. And those people, for starters, are Zimbabweans that have got right to information.
Right.
So it is my desire and my thinking that everyone else who is owning a media house conform to the standards that make TV something that is appealing to a family, for starters.
Do you think you should start a union or a council of some sort so that you can support other small journalists and media portals, and they subscribe and you give them, because you are knowledgeable, because you have done the training, but some are still upcoming. Like you said, when you finished your training, you were not able to do A, B, C, D. Then you had to go and take some more. Do you think there will come a time when you open an academy or anything like that?
That would be too much asking, but I feel right now, the easiest way to learn media is to look at something that is being done by someone.
Right.
That's your number one college. If you sit down on Sly Media, you'll see the camera work that we do. If you are a student at university, you mix what you are seeing on Sly Media and also what you are learning at any academic institution if you are studying media. Above that, we also have groups where we are stationed or housed as journalists in WhatsApp groups, where it's not always easy. We are shouting at each other.
Right.
You are putting our names as journalists at risk. Why did you do this? Even though we don't show you, or it may not come out of that group where we have got seniors, young journalists, and all sorts. But in those groups, we are sharing information. They are coming from university. They have learned what I did not learn at university. I am also coming from into media with work experience, as well as continuously studying. So we all have something to share in those groups. And anyone has a right to come to Sly Media, young or old, and say, you know what, you did a very good program yesterday, but your camera work was so poor. It will affect me, but that is constructive criticism. I also do it to this next person. We do it every day, though you will not see it. I can phone Simba at Zimai and tell him, I don't like what you are doing. But we don't take the dirty linen into the public. This is not right. According to our journalists, you are putting our names at risk. Not only you, because you are representing other journalists. I'll go to Zimbo Live. What is it that you are putting on that program? That's not acceptable. You know, they will come to me as well and say, your audio yesterday, oh my God, I wanted to watch it. I have taken it down on Zimbo Live because your audio is not good.
Right.
We can't feed our following with such kind of trash. We do that. There's a continuous process.
Right.
It hurts, it's good, but at the end of the day, we build each other as Zimbabweans, as journalists, and through, we have people that are coming to our production house as intern. We never used to do it, but we had a volume of invitations from all universities in Zimbabwe, from University of Zimbabwe, Great Zimbabwe, Makosa College, Polytech, Blawayo Tech, people wanting to come for an attachment. At first, we were very hesitant because we felt we didn't have the time. But we realized that we also have a role to nurture our Zimbabweans, because we are also as a result of some nurturing that was done on us by other senior people. You will speak of Tafuma Machakaire, you will speak of Judith Makwanya, you go to Zim Papers, there's other senior journalists that are there that have been writing sports, like Robson Sharuko for a long time, you know. So we have a role to teach those people that are coming. When I started doing soccer commentary, I will go to Robson Sharuko and ask him, how do I exactly describe it? And he will tell me without any cost. I'll go to Petros Kausio, I find it very difficult to describe a certain play. How do I do it? Then they teach me. So we are a product of other teachers. Right. So we have a responsibility to nurture other people that are coming us. And to me, that's what they call leadership. Leadership is to pass on the baton in its rightful state to the other followers that are following the track that we are moving. So we need to leave a legacy of good things. But in the process, we may injure someone. My apologies to those people.
Well, you caught my attention when you said you are employing and you've got you are recruiting, you've got employees, and I see your team, you've got women in your team. What is it like for the women in media, and why have you decided to empower women in your company?
You know what, talents, they don't find a way into the male-dominated field.
Yeah.
And passion does the same. It does not follow because I'm a woman and the woman's place is in the kitchen. You may be seated there, but you are saying, I just like filming, I just like taking pictures. That's the beginning. So if that person has got that passion, why not give them a chance? Why not give them a chance? I take the leaf from maybe some of the teachings that we get even from our own church, that we are all equal before God, men or women. If we are a husband and a wife, we are coming from an issue or traditional setup where men are said to be better thinkers than men. Yeah. But I tell you what, you end up hearing people say, musha mukadzi. Kana usina mukadzi. So it means when that person comes into your life, they come in with their intelligence, skills, and abilities to make you look a better man in life. So it means they have a role to play in the society, not only in the house. They can also do the same that they do to their husband in a company setup.
Right.
So give them a chance. Yeah, let them explore.
Yeah, what you have said is like the highlight of this discussion, to say talent will not find itself into someone because of gender. No. Talent is just talent, and it is in an individual. I think that is really good. I've really enjoyed having this conversation with you. And
before you go, talent knows no educational boundaries.
Right.
Yes, you may be talented, but you are not educated. ZBC, during its peak period of when people say ZBC is very entertaining, most of those DJs and journalists had never seen the door of a university to study media. Right. But they relied on talent, where radio was being said is radio. Right. So talent knows no educational doors. Because Lionel Messi may never been to a school, but he plays football excellently and entertain people. So a lady may be talented as a camera person. So they may be better and good more than a man. Even in a house setup, in a family setup, I may be the husband who paid Lobola for the wife, but she may be more intelligent than me. But the only fact that she's coming from a background where women were not extended the hand to go and have education. Right. But it doesn't mean to say they don't have anything good to say or to educate the nation or to, we can talk all day.
I really enjoyed this. But now I want you to remove your journalist hat, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. Then we call it a day.
Yes, thank you.
So, what is your favorite football team?
My favorite football team is Chelsea.
Yes. Favorite gospel artist?
What many?
Give me 3.
Charles Charamba. Amai Charamba. Kudzinya kudya.
Right.
There are so many.
The legendary ones. You told us the legendary ones.
Fungisai Rakava Pano, Shingisai Suluma. There are so many. I've been on radio. I've been exposed to a lot of artists. And the way we're working at ZBC compelled us to balance.
Right.
So you end up picking a lot of people that are around you, whether it's you are playing mbira music or you are playing gospel music. You try and balance so that you are not seen to be playing charamba every day. So asanopo marina charamba.
Parewe song yanga chiramba chingodzoka pa YouTube. Sisong wazoti asinobhadharwa here YouTube nesong.
And so when you're a journalist, when you are a radio presenter, you are playing music on behalf of the listeners. You need to play their favorites, not my favorite. So I end up playing their favorites, and their favorites become my favorites. And at the end of the day, we are happy at each other. They will say you have a good selection because I'm trying to please everyone.
Right. Who's your mentor or someone that you look up to who's in the media industry?
Somebody who picked me from being a driver. His name is Koras Nyamakunda. He's now in the United Kingdom. He picked me when I was a driver, when we were not allowed to hold a camera at ZBC. But he said, you know what? Anyone can do it. And then, I told you I was going to college. I had not really had my diploma. So I would say, no, you let's go. Do it. This is how you film. This is how you compose a short. So you teach me without the authority of my superiors. So he accepted me as a driver. He did not look down upon me as a driver at ZBC, driving reporters and producers. But because I had the interest carrying around cameras, I wasn't just a driver. I would say, can I carry the tripod for you? They also developed interest in paying attention to my needs. And then they taught me how to handle a camera. And another guy who also played a very important part in my life is Joe Mafema. He was also a producer at ZBC. And I wanted to go to Kosa College. I didn't have money because I was the driver. It wasn't enough to pay for my daily needs as well as pay for my school fees as a training journalist who is continuing with his career. So he said, why are you not going to college? Because I told him I want to go to college. And I said, no, my salary is not enough to pay for my school fees. He said, after work, you come with me. And he took me by the hand to Kosa College. And he just said to the principal there, to the chaplain, this one must not pay school fees. Why? He's a Christian. And I said, can he bring a letter from his church?
Wow.
And I went to my church and I told my pastor, and then he went to the head office, and that's Zayoja for your information. And he said, yes, because I was paying tithes. They wrote a letter that is our member is our son. Please facilitate him where possible. Then they halved my school fees just because of that man. But that man wasn't going to church. I don't know now. He wasn't going to church, but this is what he did to me. And I ended up now, I'm a Christian journalist. Interesting. So those are my mentors. They really played a part in my genesis as a camera person, and besides other things as a journalist.
Wow, what an inspiring journey. We've learned a lot from talking to you. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, and which media houses challenges you globally? It doesn't have to be a local one. The one that you think, okay, this I will go as far as this and go beyond.
Nice, interesting question. We want to leave a legacy. A legacy is a company that runs on its own when you are not there.
Wow.
So when you empower people in your organization to run things when you are not there, then it means there is continuity of the company even when I pass on.
Wow.
So our responsibility is to build that legacy that has got equipment for people to experiment, explore, and do what they think they can do, because they are also fellow journalists. So when they have a place to play around every day, experiencing and all that, it will keep the company going.
Right.
So my desire is to make sure that we leave something behind, a station housed somewhere, in a very big yard with a massive building with several various studios of different sizes where people spend their day playing there. Let's not say make money. Play there, play with the equipment, do all sorts of things. And then I'll die a peaceful man. That's my desire. Slime Media is not supposed to end when I pass on. Right. It's supposed to be seen to continuously do what we are doing. Because why? Anybody who is running BBC has got five, they called senses, five senses. He's got five senses. Anybody running SABC has got five senses. Anybody running ZBC has got five senses. Anybody running ZTN as a CEO has got five senses, right? So why can't we have someone who has got five senses who can also run Slime Media as BBC? Wow. Why? The way you buy cameras, there are no restrictions. You know, where are you registered? Do you have the money? Buy the equipment and then you put it there. People spend the whole day playing with those equipment, and then life goes on. That's my desire.
Wow. This has been an amazing conversation. It's really good to know you. We have great respect for your work, and thank you so much for taking time. I know you are very busy. Everyone knows you are busy because we see the work that you are doing on a day-to-day basis. It never stops, like it's continuous, but you've taken time to just come into our studios and speak to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to be on this set being interviewed. It's very rare when we are being interviewed. We are always asking questions. So I really enjoyed speaking with you. Anytime you feel you want to continue with this conversation, we are at your disposal.
Thank you. You can say goodbye to the listeners, give them the final word, and we are done.
Thank you so much for watching this program. My word of advice or word of wisdom, don't do what Christ wouldn't do. And make sure that you promote this channel by sharing to other people, even if you don't like what this channel is offering. But you know someone who likes the content that you find on Auntie Mimi's programs. Share with them, and they will enjoy those interviews and anything else that she's talking about here and there. She's got some messages for you to share that message with someone, and don't be selfish with messages. That's why you find every social media button, every social media app has got a share button and a like. Make use of those share buttons. Share this program and many others to other people that are in this whole world. Not only Zimbabweans, but everyone else. Thank you so much.
Thank you.